My name is Brett Veerhusen. I'm the principal for Ocean Strategies. I'm also a former and recovering commercial fisherman, and I am just so happy to be here with Jennifer Bushman today to talk about a really exciting new project for the entire seafood community. Jen, thank you so much for being here today. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit and a little bit about this project?
I'm delighted to be here, Brett. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Jennifer Bushman, and I'm one of the co-founders of an NGO called Fed by Blue. And Fed by Blue really is sort of a communication arm. We know that in seafood, we've always been on the defensive and not the offensive. And so myself and two other badass female co-founders decided that we really needed to take that narrative by storm. And one of the first projects that we actually have coming out, because we felt like we needed this major media moment, is called Hope in the Water. It's a docu-series that travels all over the globe to discover and let that audience discover the creative solutions and breakthroughs in blue food technologies, and also efforts that can not only feed us, but also help save our threatening seas and our fresh
You
waterways.
are you are taking sort of the most positive messages, the innovations that are happening across the world in seafood, and bringing that to audiences around the country. And I was just hoping that you could tell our viewers and our readers, why is this message, why is Hope in the Waters message so important right now, especially in today's seafood sort of climate?
Well, I feel like we talk a lot about the transaction of it, right? How much is selling at retail? How much are the restaurateurs buying? We don't really talk about how important this is as a global food system. There are 3.2 billion people, 3.2 billion people on the planet that rely on foods from water as some part of their nutrients, in some cases, all of the food that they're going to have on any given day. That is a real anchoring moment. And when I was in conversations, and when I am in conversations about food future, like what is going to be our food future, these important foods from water are often left untold. It's not, we talk a lot about regenerative agriculture. We talk a lot about what we're doing on land to change the way in which our proteins are raised. But we really don't talk about what the potential that our mostly blue planet holds. And so for me, it's really was important to tell those stories, because there are so many stories that have never been told about people that are fighting for marine protected areas, for decades, that finally get them. And when they do, the fisheries around them are 3, 4 times more prolific than they ever were, contributing more food to this important food system. Things like small scale commercial fishermen, those species that are, not as desirable, and also aquaculture and what the role of responsible aquaculture can be. So we wanted those character driven stories to be told, where people are telling their own story, so that then me, the viewer, can really activate around that and start to be able to make a difference with the way in which I'm looking at fish and seafood, and I'm also willing to expand my palette.
So, Jen, what I love about this project and the series is you're really taking and trying to take the conflict out. I mean, I've worked in this industry for my entire life. We are really good at eating our own and finding, finding chips in each other's armor, rather than kind of lifting, as they say, all boats. And what I love about this is it's positive. It gives people hope. It tells narratives of people, and the planet that are producing food
Yes.
for this world, and in a sustainable way. So, can you tell us a little bit more about where the series is going to be shown, when, and why was having major celebrities as the storytellers so important to attract the broad audience?
Well, I guess the first thing is, I really felt like we needed, as I said before, this major media moment that we could ride on the coattails of, to build all of the other impact that we also hope to create. So when I was first thinking about this, I went first to a dear friend of mine who's part of the World Food Program. He's a renowned chef and author, Andrew Zimmern, who has won Emmy Awards, James Beard Awards. He actually is really authentically understands and knows the importance of our blue food system. And then when we put the pieces together of what the series would be, and as it began to evolve, then we took it to one of the most prolific writers and producers in Hollywood, David E. Kelley, who also happens to be one of the founders of River and Trout. So once we sort of put those pieces together, we started to talk to the different streaming entities and networks, and we found that they wanted that celebrity component, that it was important, not only if it was a celebrity that could bring a lot of eyeballs and attention to this, but celebrities that were authentically doing the work on the water. So we call our celebrities explorers because we feel like what they're doing is they're working in this as activists, but they're still exploring and kind of producing and synthesizing where they're going to land in terms of their impact. So the series actually is with Shailene Woodley. She's this amazing young actress. You'll have seen her in Michael Mann's Ferrari this past Christmas, and other series like Divergent and many others. Martha Stewart, Jose Andres, a thought leader who also was on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, Baratunde Thurston. His series America Outdoors on PBS is very impactful. And what we wanted them to do was we wanted it to be global. So we also did a call for stories that was all over the world through organizations like yours, through organizations like the Environmental Defense Fund and others all across the globe. And we filmed on 3 continents. We had over 1,200 stories submitted. We whittled that down to 9. And we're really excited to say that we are going to be in North America, nationally distributed by PBS. So on June 19th, everyone will be able to watch the series. We're launching our impact campaign where you'll see activations at retail, in restaurants. There's a cookbook coming out called Blue Foods Hope in the Water by Andrew Zimmern and renowned chef and thought leader around blue food systems, Barton Seaver. So it's really like we're doing a tool for your phone so that you can look up where to find responsible blue foods and get more information. That'll come in 2025. So it's this series is really the starting off point. And it will also, we hope, be internationally distributed in 2025. So it's really looking now at this amazing opportunity where PBS gives us this incredible platform, including Brett, it's our series is the content's going to be in 90% of schools in North America by August.
That is incredible. Jen, when I talk to you, I always think to myself, how does she sleep? And now I think about all the things that you have to do in the next 3 to 4 months. And I'm so proud to be just the smallest part of this project and helping you because there is so much going on. But after the series premieres on June 19th, that's just the start of it. You have an entire multi-year impact campaign to activate people from in schools, children, all the way up to get people excited about eating seafood. Whatever your gateway seafood is to be enjoying it, my personal opinion is go for it. Like you just get people to be enjoying our the food that comes from our ocean or that is sustainably raised, and hopefully be just incorporating more seafood into your diets. What are your plans to kind of maximize the impact of this series in order to get this on more plates in America and maybe around the world?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we get people asking. So you're going to see from us, a question set. We want people coming up to the seafood case, coming up to the restaurant menu and be asking, where does my seafood come from? And starting to learn. I mean, it really has been sort of, I think people feel like they either don't feel comfortable eating seafood because of all the bad things that they've heard, or they do. It's very black or white. It's been very polarizing for the, especially for the guest or the consumer. And so I feel like that's the entry point. When you see this on the docu-series, you're going to feel emotion. You're going to want to do something about it. And most docu-series and documentaries never activate any type of or put any sort of action out into the market. So for us, it wasn't about how many people watched it. It wasn't about how many people used the connected market tool. It was how did we change consumptive behavior in order to be able to steer, really start to steer this very difficult sort of ship in a different direction. And some of that might just be that Shailene Woodley, who is, has millions of followers on social media and had never eaten uni before, but had been a diver and had been part of a system where she saw the kelp forest getting eaten and then went to a farm and tasted this beautiful urchin and then was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And maybe someone out there will be like, wow, I could start to eat this. And there are millions of those purple zombie urchins out in the water. And if we start to eat them, we can not only bring a sustainable, beautiful food to our plates, but we can then rebuild an important and revitalize an important and necessary ecosystem in our kelp forest. So it's connecting the dots of that intention with your action and really trying to activate so that we want people learning and being educated and knowing more and being excited about what the possibilities are around eating foods from water. No more doom scrolling on our food system. No more telling you you can't this and you don't do this or you shouldn't do that. It's there is an abundance out there. And when you put your dollars where your values are and you know where these foods are coming from, you can have this beautiful bounty, even in the face of what seems like overwhelming changes in our climate.
And I love the way you phrase that with kind of aligning your intention with action.
Yes.
That is hugely important, and you have assembled an amazing production team and storytellers. I also feel really, really proud that you asked me to be on your advisory panel for Fed by Blue. I think you've assembled, a really broad range of people to hopefully have this resonate and really land with audiences and the entire seafood community, no matter where you are in, whether you're a fisherman, an aquaculturist, a person who just is passionate about the ocean, somebody who loves just seafood, or anybody in between the seafood supply chain, restaurants, distributors, grocers. I mean, everybody is so integral into this really complex system, and you've done a really amazing job to reach out to the people who trust you and your team. And I just really want to compliment you.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, we're really just a baby in this. We come with a lot of experience, but we really were bringing at these people to the table to start in a lot of ways, unfortunately, what is a new conversation. We were lucky enough to be one of two series that were considered kind of the premium series for PBS at the Television Critics Association conference in LA. They only had 8 that they showed, and the name checking and the excitement, particularly with the celebrities involved. And what we did was they asked us to do a blue food luncheon for all of the critics. And we brought those foods from Hawaii, the seaweeds, the kampachi, and the questions that the critics asked, which was really fascinating to me because they didn't like ask questions about the series specifically. They asked questions about aquaculture.
Hmm.
And about, well, there's a lot of thought about this, and can you farm a fish well, and we hear these things. And so it was just an unbelievable platform for Andrew Zimmern, who is our amazing ambassador and champion, to be able to sit and talk about this. Baratunde Thurston was he was actually in Puerto Rico, that we were talking about the impact that Jose Andres and World Central Kitchen made after Hurricane Dorian for fishermen, and now the giant squid fishery that has rebounded. And there were and Bertunde said one of the most amazing and really moving moments was when this activist looked into the camera and he said, the biggest risk to conservation is poverty.
Hmm.
And if we don't figure out how to align water protection with water production in service to our food system, we will eat up the entire bounty. So there are so many moments where we're telling the stories. This series tells the story through the voice of the characters. There's no narrator. This isn't anything but them saying, I'm doing this great work on the water. Join me. Join me. And then we hope that Fed by Blue picks that up and says, now here's a way where you're right in there to then do something about it. Go in the grocery store and buy oysters, right? Start eating kelp from Alaska. An amazing story with Dune Lankard and his team. There are things you can do that can make a difference, even if only by the way you snack. Eat a kelp chip instead of a potato chip, right?
That's right.
You all can do something.
Put Alaska salmon on your bagel. Go buy some squid from Rhode Island. Go eat some kampachi from Hawaii, some seaweed from elsewhere. I mean, there are so many ways to get people in the tent, and I just want to thank you for your time today to tell us more about Fed by Blue and Hope in the Water, airing again June 19th on PBS. We have all sorts of information included on our website for our readers and viewers to learn more. So thank you so much, Jen, for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much. And with that, remember, everyone can help us seed this movement. We'll give you the toolkits. You can have screenings. You can gather. I mean, it's sort of like, when you're gathering for an award show or for the Super Bowl, you can come together. We'll make sure that you're totally ready, and anybody can do that in their own home, in their own backyard. So what we really hope is that you'll all join us, because there really is hope in the water.
Well said. Thank you, Jen.